Almost 2,000 years ago, the most powerful man in the world sat down and wrote a private journal that was never meant to be published. His name was Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, and the wisdom he left behind has transformed millions of lives across the centuries. These were not abstract theories from a philosopher in a comfortable study. These were battle-tested principles written by a man who led armies, buried children, survived plagues, and ruled an empire on the brink of collapse. What he discovered about the human mind and how to master it is just as relevant today as it was in ancient Rome. Here are 10 rules from Marcus Aurelius that will fundamentally change how you live your life. Rule number 1. Focus only on what you can control. This is the foundation of everything Marcus Aurelius believed. He wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality, and most of that suffering comes from obsessing over things we cannot change. You cannot control the economy, other people's opinions, the weather, or what happened yesterday. But you can control your effort, your attitude, your response, and your next decision. Marcus governed during wars, famines, and a devastating plague. Yet he maintained his composure because he ruthlessly separated what was in his power from what was not. In modern life, this means stop arguing with strangers on the internet. Stop worrying about what your coworkers think of you, and start pouring that energy into your own growth. The moment you internalize this principle, anxiety loses its grip on you. Rule number 2. Begin each morning with reflection. Marcus Aurelius started every day by preparing his mind for the challenges ahead. He would remind himself that he would encounter ungrateful, arrogant, and dishonest people, and he chose in advance how he would respond. This is not pessimism. It is strategic mental preparation. When you wake up and immediately check your phone, you hand control of your mind to the world. Instead, take 5 minutes each morning to sit in silence and set your intentions for the day. Ask yourself what kind of person you want to be today and what matters most. The Stoics believe that an unexamined morning leads to a reactive day, and a reactive day leads to a wasted life. Own your mornings, and you own your life. Rule number 3. The obstacle is the way. Marcus wrote that the impediment to action advances action, and what stands in the way becomes the way. This is perhaps the most powerful reframe in all of philosophy. Every problem you face is not blocking your path. It is your path. When Marcus faced the Antonine Plague that killed millions, he did not retreat. He used the crisis to demonstrate leadership, compassion, and resilience. In your own life, that rejection, that failure, that setback you are dealing with right now is not happening to you. It is happening for you. It is building the exact strength and wisdom you need for the next chapter. Stop running from difficulty and start running toward it, because on the other side of every obstacle is the person you are meant to become. Rule number 4. Remember you will die. Memento mori. This was not a morbid obsession for the Stoics. It was a liberation tool. Marcus wrote to himself that he could leave life right now, and to let that determine what he does, says, and thinks. When you truly internalize that your time is limited, everything changes. Petty arguments dissolve. Procrastination becomes absurd. Fear of judgment evaporates because none of it matters in the face of eternity. The Stoics kept skulls on their desks and wore memento mori rings as constant reminders. You do not need a skull, but you do need to ask yourself every single day whether you would be proud of how you spent this day if it were your last. That question, asked honestly, will reshape every decision you make. Rule number 5. Choose virtue over pleasure. Marcus Aurelius had access to every pleasure the ancient world could offer. He was the emperor. Wine, feasts, entertainment, all of it was at his fingertips at any moment. Yet he chose discipline, duty, and virtue above all of it. He understood that pleasure is a trap that makes you weaker over time, while virtue is a practice that makes you stronger. In our modern world of instant gratification, this rule is more important than ever. Every time you choose the hard right over the easy wrong, you build character. Every time you delay gratification for a greater purpose, you become more resilient. Marcus believed that the good life was not about feeling good, but about being good. And the paradox is that living virtuously actually brings a deeper, more lasting satisfaction than any temporary pleasure ever could. Rule number 6. Write in a journal every day. The Meditations, the book that made Marcus Aurelius immortal, was literally his private journal. He never intended for anyone else to read it. He wrote to clarify his thinking, process his emotions, and hold himself accountable. Journaling is the most underrated tool for personal transformation because it forces you to confront your own thoughts honestly. When a worry lives only in your head, it feels overwhelming. When you put it on paper, it shrinks. Marcus used his journal to remind himself of Stoic principles, to criticize his own behavior, and to recommit to his values daily. You do not need fancy notebooks or perfect prose. Just write what you are feeling, what you are struggling with, and what you want to become. 5 minutes of honest writing will do more for your mind than an hour of passive consumption. Rule number 7. Live in service to others. Marcus believed that human beings are made for cooperation, like the rows of teeth in the upper and lower jaw. He rejected the idea that power and status were meant for personal indulgence. Instead, he saw his role as emperor as a duty to serve the people of Rome. This principle transformed how he governed and how he treated everyone from senators to slaves. In modern life, selfishness is a dead end that leads to emptiness no matter how much you accumulate. The research backs this up. Studies consistently show that people who volunteer and help others are happier, healthier, and live longer. Find a way to contribute beyond yourself, whether that is mentoring someone, supporting a cause, or simply being reliable for the people in your life. Purpose comes from service, and service gives life meaning that nothing else can match. Rule number 8. Master your emotions before they master you. Marcus Aurelius did not teach that emotions are bad. He taught that being controlled by them is dangerous. He wrote that anger is a sign of weakness, not strength, and that the best revenge is to not be like your enemy. Emotional discipline does not mean suppressing what you feel. It means creating space between the stimulus and your response. When someone insults you, you have a choice. When something goes wrong, you have a choice. That space between what happens and how you react is where your entire quality of life is determined. Practice pausing before you respond. Practice observing your emotions without acting on them immediately. Over time, this builds an inner fortress that no external event can penetrate. Rule number 9. Embrace simplicity in all things. Marcus Aurelius was the richest and most powerful man alive, yet he slept on the floor, wore simple clothing, and ate plain food. He deliberately chose simplicity because he understood that luxury makes you soft and dependent. The more things you need to be happy, the more fragile your happiness becomes. In a world that constantly tells you to buy more, achieve more, and consume more, choosing simplicity is a radical act of freedom. Simplify your possessions, your schedule, your diet, and your goals. Focus on fewer things with greater depth rather than many things with shallow attention. Marcus knew that a simple life is not a deprived life. It is a liberated life, free from the endless chase that keeps most people anxious and unfulfilled. Rule number 10. Live fully in the present moment. Marcus wrote that it is not death that a man should fear, but rather he should fear never beginning to live. The past is gone and the future is not guaranteed. The only moment you will ever truly possess is this one right now. The Stoics were obsessed with presence because they understood that anxiety lives in the future and regret lives in the past. Neither exists in the present moment. When you eat, just eat. When you talk to someone, truly listen. When you work, give it your complete focus. Marcus ruled an empire while practicing this principle. and he found that being fully present in each moment was the only path to genuine peace. Stop sleepwalking through your days planning for someday. Someday is right now, and it always has been. Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome for nearly 20 years and faced more adversity than most of us will ever know. Yet through it all, he maintained his composure, his compassion, and his commitment to living well. These 10 rules are not just ideas to think about. They are principles to practice daily until they become part of who you are. Pick the one that resonated with you the most and commit to living it for the next 30 days. If this video added value to your life, subscribe to this channel for more Stoic wisdom every week. Leave a comment telling me which rule hit you the hardest. The philosophy that built empires can build an extraordinary life, and that life starts today.